I hope you're well. Welcome to your reading for the lunar eclipse in Gemini, which is going to take place on the 30th of November this year. So this is the final lunar eclipse of 2020, and in many respects I think it's fair to say that this is going to take us out of 2020 with a bit of a bang, and then when we get to the follow-up eclipse, which is the solar eclipse in Sagittarius mid-December, we really are moving into the energy of 2021. So the way I see this particular eclipse working is one of two ways. It can either be about really putting to bed things that have been niggling or bothering us since June, when we had that lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, because there are a lot of mirrors, or kind of this is almost the sort of sister eclipse to that, so that's one thing to say. And then the other is that you could get clarity, and in order to sort of let go of some things that you know, just get clear about what you want to leave in 2020, and what you want to sort of move forward into 2021 without. So yes, a chance to clarify goals and aspirations, that kind of thing. But anyway, let's get into how this eclipse is likely to work for you personally. So do bear in mind that when I am doing my interpretations, I'm doing it as if Leo was rising for you. So if your ascendant is not Leo, I do suggest that you go and watch the video for whatever your ascendant is. Okay, so at this particular eclipse, we've got the Sun in Sagittarius, which for you is the 5th house. This is the house of love affairs, children, as well as hobbies, anything that we feel passionate about. And then the full moon in Gemini will be in your 11th house, which is the house of group associations. So things like social media, social circles, can also be networking. So this is really where we are focusing our attention. And then there are a couple of other things happening on the day of this lunar eclipse. So the first is Mercury. Mercury is of course the ruler of Gemini. Now Mercury will be in Scorpio, which for you is 4th house of home and family, and Mercury is going to be making a really nice positive aspect to Saturn. Now Saturn is currently in Capricorn, which is in your 6th house of work and health. So positive developments or news coming, I feel, that will connect home and your everyday life. You know, the 6th house is not just the house of work, but it can be, of course, it could be about home working, but generally it's about our everyday rituals. So in some way I feel as though your lifestyle potentially is changing for the better. And then another really positive aspect happening is a trine and a sextile to Chiron, essentially. So Chiron currently retrograde in Aries, which is your 9th house. This is the house of beliefs, as well as contacts with foreign companies or people of a different culture. It's also about teaching and spirituality, as well as our kind of overall philosophy of life. So I think a chance here to really find resolution or healing about something. You know, maybe you've had a bit of a spiritual crisis, or possibly there's been some kind of core wound here that now has an opportunity to be healed. And then the final thing to say is that Neptune is going to be going direct the day before this eclipse. So Neptune in Pisces, which for you is 8th house, this will be going direct on the 29th of November. So if there's anything that you feel a lack of clarity about when it comes to joint ventures or combined efforts, then I do think that you'll get some clarity on that now. However, what I want to say with a caveat is that Neptune is going to be making a T-square to the nodes, which are going to be in Gemini and Sagittarius. So this is actually what links this eclipse to the June solar eclipse, is that Neptune at that point was also making a T-square to the nodes, but at that point it was doing so with Mars. Now of course with Mars in the mix, that tended to create aggravation, conflict, and just sort of inflammation, shall we say. It kind of blew things up that maybe didn't need to be. And then of course Neptune went retrograde, and that didn't really help matters, because you know, it tends to create confusion and misunderstanding. So a chance now for those to be resolved. But let's pull some cards for you, some geomancy cards, and see if we can get a little bit more clarity. Okay, let's find out what's going on. Let's start with the sun and the moon. Okay. So I think first and foremost, this eclipse is going to give you an opportunity to really get clear about what it is that you want from a community. You know, what do you consider to be your soul tribe, and really trying to find a place where you feel you belong, with populace here in your 11th house of groups. You know, very often we, out of habit, kind of stay within groupings of friends within a social circle, when really you know, often we, you know, if you think about the moon here, this is a full moon, so sometimes we can end up feeling like we're too much for some people, and the truth of the matter is that we're not too much, we're only too much around people that we don't really resonate with. So I think this full moon for you, helping you to get really clear about who you feel that you belong with in terms of community, who is your soul tribe. And then here in your 5th house, we've got a missio. So if paired with the sun, I kind of feel as though this has to do with perhaps where you feel that you've kind of missed out, or there's a sense of maybe like regret, or kind of looking back and thinking, I wonder if I lost out, you know. So say, for example, you decided not to have children. Maybe you're sort of looking back and thinking, did I do the wrong thing? It could also be missing out potentially on a creative project. So, you know, maybe due to circumstances beyond your control this year, you've kind of missed out on some kind of opportunity, you know, like maybe an art exhibition, because of course all art galleries are closed, or you know, you haven't been able to perform if you're part of a band. But there's definitely a sense here of kind of loss, and maybe also a feeling of time kind of passing you by. But yeah, we will clarify with the Magpie Oracle in due course. So let's look at that Mercury-Saturn sextile. Okay, so this looks very positive. We've got Puer here in your 4th house with Mercury. So this points to, for me, a sense of forward momentum, making decisions about the future. It could be about a move, maybe a house move or a relocation, but definitely you want a kind of a reset here. You want to sort of, for things A, to kind of get a bit of momentum, maybe you're feeling a bit stuck, and B, you also want to make some decisions about the future, you know, to sort of get things moving forward. Here in with Saturn in your 6th house, we've got Fortuna Minor. Now this is of course a Leo card, so that's good news. This is about circumstances improving, so it's like the Wheel of Fortune turning in your favor. So I feel as though Saturn here is a kind of a manifestor, bringing in solid offers of employment, as well as improvements in health, generally feeling a lot happier and more optimistic when it comes to that aspect of your life, I feel, so health and work. Let's see what's going on with Neptune. Interesting. So yeah, we've got an overlap here of energies between the 8th and the 11th house. So it could be that you are also at this full moon lunar eclipse thinking about you know, ways that you can collaborate on a collective level with others. So, you know, it could be business deals with a friend or a group of people, for example. It could also be about like community funding, you know, like crowdfunding, that kind of thing. But definitely a focus here on the assets of a community somehow, you know, being important. We will clarify, as I say, with trinkets. And then, yeah, that's interesting. So with Chiron, I do feel as though we are talking about the healing of relations. So these could be just kind of coming into a sense of harmony, possibly around, as I say, you know, either publishing, legal, cultural, or foreign related matters. Could also be a legal decision going in your favor here with Chiron in your 9th house, but definitely a feeling of a positive resolution, a fair resolution, you know, at the end of the day. Alright, what else is happening? Okay, so a reiteration of Fortuna Minor here in your 3rd house of self-expression. So it could be good news coming in for you, an offer possibly of employment. Equally, it could be about a change, you know, a change in your everyday routine is reflected in your outlook, so you start to feel more positive, and of course vice versa, change your mind, change your lifestyle. Okay, so with money and income, we've got Albus. So this is Gemini energy, so similar to the full moon itself. And Albus for me is using logic, maybe negotiating an employment contract, possibly, I mean, you could be, for example, doing some writing work, or maybe setting up a website, you know, with this communal energy that we've got here in your 8th house, which is also about, this is about earning money, but from teaming up with usually one other person, but you know, in all cases it seems to be a group of people. So it could be, you know, for example, developing an app or a website that where people can pay for things using subscriptions, for example. But definitely a fresh start for you, I feel, you know, Albus being a blank sheet of paper. And also I think when it comes to any kind of employment contract or negotiations, the key is logic rather than, you know, emotion. Albus being white, literally. So it's about using your head rather than your heart. Okay, so it looks to me as though, you know, the period between that lunar eclipse in June and now hasn't been that easy psychologically. Maybe you felt a bit isolated. This could point to why we've got the full moon in your 11th house. You know, maybe you've kind of withdrawn a little bit from certain interactions, and you know, I have seen articles as well in various magazines about friendship fade. That has happened for a lot of people. You know, it's been a difficult year, and sometimes it's a bit awkward. We don't really know what to say to others. I've personally found social media a bit of a minefield, and so I've pulled back a lot from that. So it could be that you've made a similar decision, and even though that makes you feel, you know, maybe a bit more sort of comfortable, it can sometimes be a little bit lonely. You know, Carse here being about feeling a little bit isolated or imprisoned in the psyche. Let's look at that 7th house now. That's beautiful. So yeah, I do think that when it comes to one-to-one relationships, that things look set to improve. Puella for me is, you know, first of all, it's ruled by Venus in Libra, and this is generally about an improvement in relationships. You know, kind of everything that Venus is when she is in a good place. So civility, harmony, cooperation, the arts. So it's a very refined sort of energy. So you know, if you have had a few issues with regards to one-to-one relationships, I do see that improving now. You know, here for example, you've got a Missio, which is new love affairs, and so you know, things haven't gone terribly well romantically. I see that improving now with Puella here. Generally improve relations with others, and with Puella here in your 9th house, it could well be that you find somebody now that you really feel that you share a similar outlook on life, similar beliefs, somebody who kind of gets you from the sort of the spiritual dimension. So it could be a special connection that you kind of feel has a psychic element to it, or is somehow you know, it's just a kind of a level above, you know, ordinary relationships. And then with Conjunctio in your 1st house, this really speaks to me of an emphasis on wanting to build alliances, so to forge relationships and networking arrangements with people that you feel are on your level, really. So this could point to, as I say, the joint ventures that I'm seeing here for you, as well as just wanting, you know, more harmonious relationships, generally speaking. Let's look at oh, well, that's wonderful. Save the best for last. So here in your 10th house is Acquisitio. This is the fire element, and this is wonderful. It's kind of, it's gain, it's success, very often in a material sense. So really reaping the rewards of hard work in the past. This is Jupiter in Sagittarius, and of course we will be moving into Sagittarius season just before this full moon, so about a week before. So a really expansive energy. So I do see, you know, career really kind of panning out for you now, and in the sort of, and moving forward, you know, so that is very, very positive. I think moving into a very successful and productive period of your life, which is wonderful. Let's clarify with a few trinkets now. First for that full moon. Yeah, so there've been a few clouds kind of hanging over your friendships and kind of group interactions, but you know, I do see that clearing now. That's what eclipses are so wonderful at doing, is clearing out the clutter or anything that shouldn't be there, so that you know, fresh energy can come in. Okay, so two have come out for the sun. We've got the letter and we've got the snake. So it could well be that some kind of project that involved writing got delayed, or perhaps you felt like there was some contractual agreement to do with either, you know, children, a creative project, or something like the tourism or hospitality industries or sport, that where you felt betrayed a little bit, you got a little bit let down, or somebody didn't keep their word. This could also, of course, speak of romantic connections. You know, if you perhaps were chatting to somebody online, maybe, you know, things sort of kind of petered off a little bit, they didn't really go anywhere. Or again, you found out that they were maybe talking to somebody else, and that could be why we've got a missio here. There's a feeling of a missed opportunity, or just you know, of something passing you by, really. But you know what they say, Leo, what's meant for you won't pass you by, so just bear that in mind. Let's have one for Puella here. Yeah, you see new connections coming in that are much more suited to you, you know, much more on your wavelengths, much more harmonious, where people actually, where there's reciprocity. So that's nice to see. You know, as I was saying, you know, out with the old, in with the new. Okay, and then let's see about Mercury and Saturn. Wow. So this is really positive. I mean, it could literally be the key to a new home, for example. But the key is very much about success. So it's about knowing that you've got what it takes to get what you want. So, you know, if you are looking to find the perfect home or property, or if you are just kind of gearing yourself up for a period of success, then that looks really positive. Yeah. Because it does look as though you've had a bit of a difficult time. You know, could be health, or it could be work, with Saturn here in your 6th house. So that can very often speak of ill health, or just a lot of struggles and obstacles when it comes to you know, work. So I really feel that things are now turning in your favor, but they may do so slowly, incrementally, with the mice here. That is often kind of not biting off more than you can chew, just sort of a little bit at a time kind of thing. Baby steps. Okay. And then let's look at Chiron and Neptune. Yes, look at that. So definitely healing coming in for you here with Chiron and Puella in your 9th house. Prospects looking up now, definitely. So when it comes to relationships, I really feel as though you're moving into a period where you're getting, you're coming into alignment with your soul tribe. So, you know, if you have had problems with friends in the past, or you know, with lovers that have kind of let you down, don't worry, because the right people are now starting to come in for you. Oh, all right. I think what we should do now is look at your outcome. All right, interesting. So it looks as though when it comes to this period, what you're really being asked to do is to kind of move forward and to do so with passion, not to sort of get fixated or to kind of look back, get stuck in the past. And with Populace here, I think this is really about finding your community, you know, people that you feel that you gel with, and in that respect, I feel as though you're going to make progress in the next 2 weeks. Both of these are Moon in Cancer energy, so this is lunar, and I think that really points to, you know, that lunar eclipse. So I really feel as though you're moving forward towards finding your soul tribe, and also when it comes to future direction of travel. I mean, with this Acquisitio here, I think it's kind of really focusing on what you're passionate about. But let's just clarify with a few trinkets. Yeah, so yeah, I really feel like group associations have been very difficult for you recently. Quite painful. But, you know, positive change is coming. Here's the Stork, which I think is very in keeping with the Moon in Cancer, this idea of forward momentum. So the Stork for me is very much about positive changes. So new situations coming in, new friendships, new kind of networks, new situations that will be a lot more, you know, kind of in alignment with where you're at. Interesting. I'm just going to pull another one. Okay, so it looks to me as though what you need to do moving forward is make decisions with care. Be quite strategic in how you move forward, which is very Mars in Scorpio. So being a little bit smart in terms of your decisions. Because, you know, we've got the Crossroads and the Fox here, and of course the Fox can be a little bit wily. It points to intelligence, you know, kind of street smart, having your wits about you, and that may be important if you are negotiating legal contracts, for example, or if you are thinking about some kind of joint effort that involves money. So I think read the fine print. Yeah, definitely. But I think overall, a positive reading. I mean, look at this Acquisitio here as your kind of future direction of travel, really positive, relationships improving, success, you know, you're on the verge of success here with family and home. So I think good things coming. Definitely, Leo, choose whoever you associate with wisely, be discerning, and that I think will take you through these 2 weeks. Into that corridor which then prepares us for 2021.